Welcome back. This is The Sit Down, and I'm joined by Oscar-nominated actor Chiwetel Ejiofor. Now he's the star, writer, and director of the new film, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Hi.
Hi. Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So you didn't just direct this film, you learned a new language for it. Let's take a look.
Akulu sankata kudzi wazako zako kama onali teste yake. Omene yankata ke yikatala chine chotse chatsanja lako la komanja pa mutu wako kukuto lako la komanzero ya mata kupita kuskulo. Oyamba pomwe na esera ndinale wocha pa kwambiri.
Why was learning the language important for you?
Well, I just really wanted to, to create the film with a really authentic sense of the place of Malawi and this region of Malawi, in the Kasungu region and Wimbe, which is the village that William Kamkwamba is from and his community. So I was really keen to, to take the audience on that real journey right into that space. And there's a real bilingual element to Malawi. Some people speak English. A lot of English is spoken in schools and in workplaces and so on, and that's reflected in the film for about half the film. But in the moments of the slightly more intimate, private spaces in the village, with the family, in the community, they would normally speak Chichewa. So I decided to learn Chichewa and work with other Malawian speakers and non-speakers who also learned Chichewa as the cast of the film.
Okay. So which was harder, learning the new language or directing yourself?
Well, I think they were both a little tricky, actually, but the sort of self-direction process was the one that I was really, going towards, when we were in pre-production. That was the bit that I was really kind of worried about, actually. The Chichewa, in a way, you're kind of just sort of learning it, and we were learning every day, and we were trying to get our heads around the language and understand it. But it was really sort of how it would feel on the floor when you're doing the scenes, and then you're kind of directing other people, and you're trying to work out what you're doing and how you're gauging that. So that took a little bit of getting used to, but it started to kind of work out, and I was very well supported by the rest of the heads of department as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier this movie comes from William Kamkwamba's book. What resonated with you the most when you first read it?
I just found his stories just deeply inspiring, a deeply inspiring emotional journey of a young boy. He was 13 at the time of the events,
right,
who was really facing down these enormous challenges that had arrived in his community with this food shortage that had happened there, and him not being able to go to school, being taken out of school because secondary school isn't free in Malawi, and the family was saving all the money that they could. And this tenacity and, optimism to sneak into school, to try and find any way that he could, when he found an American textbook called Using Energy with a photograph of a windmill on the front, and this idea just sort of sparked to him of building a wind turbine. So it was sort of just this, it was him really, it was his journey that inspired me, and I really wanted to relate that experience on film.
Yeah, it was really remarkable. It's a really remarkable story. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit, because the Oscars were this past weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
What is the weirdest thing about attending the Oscars that we don't know from watching at home?
I don't
like the experience itself. Was there any part of it when you were there that you were like,
well, I think that this year it's like it was just three and a half hours this year, which I think is, kind of better, sort of more reasonable. I just remember when I was there, I was there sort of 2 years on the trot, and it was an incredibly long sequence. Yeah. And because you don't eat. The year that I was nominated, there was the whole kind of pizza thing that Ellen brought around the because but it's true, you've got to time that food just right, because it's a long evening, from when you really arrive on the red carpet to the end of the evening.
And it's like all bars, no food.
Exactly. There's no food anywhere, and you can't really run out across the streets. So.
Right. And this year Green Book won for Best Picture. Did you like that movie? Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yeah, I I thought the film it wasn't my favorite film of the year, if I'm honest, but it was. But I didn't, the sort of vitriol about it and just everybody's expression of that. you know, that wasn't my reaction to it. You know, I felt the film was fine. You know, I kind of liked it, and I could understand why other people liked it. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like it was sort of outrageous or something.
Yeah.
You know, but like I say, it wasn't my favorite film of the year. But what I did like was just the spread of the films and the diversity of the films and the angle of the films and the perspective of the films, all of these different perspectives. And it's a funny thing with the Academy Awards because, you know, the same people vote for the ones that you wanted to win as the ones that you didn't want to win. You know what I mean? So when are they wrong? Are they wrong when they voted for you or when they voted for the other guy? You know?
Yeah, when they voted for the other guy. Okay, so one of the things I'm most excited about is The Lion King remake, and that you're voicing Scar. Can you give us a taste of your Scar voice?
I cannot give you a taste.
Dang it!
Yeah, but thank you for asking. We'll just have to wait and see.
And I mean, is it daunting being, you know, filling Jeremy Irons' shoes? Because, you know, he's had such a legendary part in this role.
No, it was wonderful to play the part. And I didn't really think of it that way entirely.
Are you going to put, like, your own spin on the character?
Exactly. I mean, but I think the whole thing does that, you know. It's a sort of, just in its visual style and all of it, you know, I think it's just a kind of, it's a regeneration of that whole experience for another generation and for my generation, you know, and for the generation that enjoyed the original as well. So I think, and I hope that it's something that everybody can sort of come together and enjoy. I think that's exactly what it will be, actually.
Nice. And you also have to sing "Be Prepared" on the soundtrack, right?
We will see whether that happens, you know.
I mean, but is it intimidating, the idea of being on the same album as Beyonce?
We are going to have to find out when the film comes out, you know, whether those things are included. So we'll see. I can't really confirm
You can't confirm or deny. Are you in the Beyhive? Can you confirm or deny your place in the Beyhive, perhaps?
I hope that I am. Yes. I hope that I'm included.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And we shall see whether...
Exactly.
Hold your own. I have faith in you. I think the Scar voice is going to be great, and I'm very excited for the soundtrack.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind comes out on Netflix tomorrow. More AM to DM is up next.